Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, I will be giving an update for the Doom of Thanatos narrative event, which is a huge apocalypse battle that I am running over the course of 2 days, the 12th and 13th of August 2023. If this is the first time you're hearing about this event and you're kind of curious to know what it's all about, then don't worry. I'll make sure to put the links to the other videos I've done about it down in the description below. But long story short, 2-day apocalypse battle, each player bringing about 5,000 points. We're going to be battling over 4 huge tables and it's going to be all narrative all the way. Whether you are a hardcore veteran or brand new to 40k, this event is open to all. And the whole point is to have some fun. This is not a tournament. There's not going to be a first place prize or anything like that. It's very much a team event. There's going to be lots of cooperation between players. There's even chance for like grand strategic planning. I've kind of described it as like a light 40k milsim. The whole point is we're going to be immersing ourselves in 40k and forging the narrative. But with all that said, now let's move on to the main meat of the video. And I am really excited because I'm going to reveal to you the maps and missions for the Doom of Thanatos. How is the event going to play over the weekend? You see, this is there's that word again, narrative event. So we're not going to be using the standard point system you'd find in a normal game of 40k. There's not going to be 45 for primary, 15 for this secondary, or any nonsense like that. Instead, there are going to be 4 large tables, which each team are going to be battling over simultaneously. Each one of these tables is going to have a unique mission and a unique biome to give it a distinct feel. Each one of these missions is going to be progressive, and they're going to evolve over the course of the weekend. We'll get into the specific details of each main mission in a moment, but for example, you might be storming a hive city. Your overall goal might be to get to the governor's palace at the heart of the city. But to get there, you might need to succeed in a number of secondary objectives, such as claiming the outer defense lines, fighting your way through the hab, and finally breaking into the palace itself. You're given one overall mission, but how you achieve that is going to be down to the players themselves. What's important to keep in mind is there's no one right way to achieve these missions. They're very much designed as a rough outline, a framework, a skeleton, and it's going to be up to the players themselves to add meat onto the bones. I have to say, I am very curious to see how each team is going to interact with the missions and what crazy plans and machinations they might come up with to achieve victory on each map. I appreciate that this might come across a little confusing, especially for people who are very used to playing 40k in the quote-unquote standard way with the normal points. So perhaps the best way I can explain this is by showing you. So let's dive into each map now and have a look at each one of the missions. Our first map is going to be a real doozy. We're starting off big, and it's going to be Hive Primus, the main seat of power for the Imperial forces on Thanatos. As you would expect, this is going to very much be an urban warfare style map. There's going to be a lot of buildings for players to contend with. Specifically, Hive Primus is going to be made up of 3 key sections which players will need to battle for control of. The first of these is the outer defense line, the initial string of fortifications protecting Hive Primus. This will consist of lots of trenches and barricades and guard towers and the like. There's also going to be 3 secondary objectives on this outer defense line, 2 fortresses and the main gates. Controlling these locations will be vitally important for determining who is going to have control of the outer defense line. After this, we have the inner habs. This is the main residential district of Hive Primus. This terrain is going to be a lot different to the outer defense line. It's almost entirely going to consist of buildings, both intact and ruined. This is going to force players to either fight through the buildings with infantry, leading to desperate house-to-house fighting, or you can risk going down the main thoroughfares. This will probably be the only route for armored forces to take, which will make their movement quicker, but will also funnel them into choke points. Handling this kind of terrain is going to be tricky. Players are going to go from a relatively simple line assault situation into very close quarters fighting. There's going to be opportunities for ambushing and also lots of movement blocking. Finally, we get to the Governor's Quarter, the seat of power on Thanatos. This is where we will find the most lavish buildings and also the most formidable fortifications. Like with the outer defense line, there's going to be a lot of trenches, a lot of barricades, but also numerous bastions, large fortresses, and a very well defended main gatehouse. Importantly, there is going to be one huge building to represent the Governor's Palace. At the beginning of the weekend, Hive Primus will be under the control of loyalist Imperial forces, and their mission is simple. They have to hold the line. Under no circumstances can the Thanatos Liberation Army and other heretical elements get inside the Imperial Palace. We then move on to map number 2, Hotzendorf's Folly. This represents the polar mountain regions of Thanatos, and naturally it's going to consist of an icy biome. This area is going to be much less sparsely populated than the areas such as Hive Primus, and as a result there's going to be a lot more natural rough terrain rather than lots of buildings and urban stuff. So if this area is mostly inhospitable, why are both sides fighting over it? Well, in Thanatos' early history, these regions were vital to the planet's defense. The area is festooned with long-abandoned fortresses, many of which have old anti-orbital lasers, which can reach high into the sky and drive off any invaders. Thanatos has long since moved on from these crude defenses. They used to have a large ring of defense satellites. But with the invasion of Chaos forces, many of these are either fighting for their lives or already being knocked out. Both sides are looking for an advantage they can bring to the orbital war from the ground up. This map is going to consist of 5 important locations. The central polar fortress will form the primary objective for both sides. You're also going to have the secondary objectives of Frosthaven Village and the Shrine to Saint Katarina. Finally, there are the 2 mountain passes. These mountain passes are where both sides are going to bring their reinforcements on from. Controlling those will ensure that you have a steady stream of reinforcements to keep the fight going for the Polar Fortress. If you're able to cut your opponent's mountain pass off, that could spell doom for the war effort in this sector. Our third map is going to be the Garden of Kadesh, and it's going to be a very green biome. Those of you who have read the lore I've put out around Thanatos will know that it is a heavily forested world, almost an unbroken emerald jewel from orbit. As a result, it was inevitable that the war was going to spread to the wooded areas of the world. The most important of which is the Garden of Kadesh. It's the area where the earliest colonists made landfall, and the site is marked by the ancient and very holy site, the Cathedral of Kadesh. Realistically, this area has little strategic or tactical value, but the symbolic value is insurmountable. Many say that the Cathedral of Kadesh marks the true spiritual heart of the planet, and whoever controls it is going to be able to claim a great victory. In terms of gameplay, there are 5 primary objectives on this map. You have Research Post Alpha, Research Post Bravo, the Old Fort, and Sloppy Bottom Village, and of course, the Cathedral itself. Whoever controls the most of these objectives will be considered in control of this biome. In addition to the primary objectives, there are rumours of ancient Eldar structures being dotted around this map. No one's entirely certain what they do or what they're for, but controlling them could be significant. And finally, we get to our last map, Manufactorum 01 Alpha. Before the war, this was the main industrial sector on the planet, ruled with an iron fist by the tech priests of Mars. However, at the start of the war, it fell surprisingly quickly to the TLA forces. There are rumors of internal sabotage and betrayal, but regardless of how it happened, it now forms the heart of the rebellion. The terrain and mission for this map are going to be similar to that of Hive Primus. It's going to be a lot of urban areas, although this time it'll be industrial rather than residential, and there's going to be outer defense lines, main buildings, and also inner defense lines as well. The main difference is that this time the Imperials will be on the attack, and it will be the rebels who are trying to hold the line and protect their headquarters. And that, my dear conscripts, covers the main maps and missions that you're going to be battling for over the course of the weekend. Just a little disclaimer, the maps are not designed to be exactly what you're going to encounter. They're there to give you an idea. Oh, this map will be urban terrain. This map will be forest. There's going to be these key objectives. You may notice that on the day, some of the paths are different. The locations, some of the fortifications might be a different place. They're very much there to give you an impression, to get you excited and hyped up for the weekend, and to allow you to start some general planning for how you think you might want to tackle each one of the missions. But that's all for now. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this whole thing. At the time of recording, we've got about 30 to 40 people signed up, which is wild. That's double what I thought we'd get. So there's going to be some pretty big battles and lots of opportunity for epic moments. There is one last thing to mention, which is there's going to be a final announcement before the event next week. That's going to have the details for the teams. So you'll know whether you've been assigned to the Heretic team or you've been assigned to the Imperial Loyalist team. The reason I'm leaving that till the last minute is because we've had a bit of fluctuation with the tickets. We've had some people buying them last minute. We've had one or two people that are refunding them. So I'm going to give it to the last possible opportunity before I lock the teams in. Don't worry if you don't know what your team is before you turn up. You'll be assigned on the day. And even if you turn up at the very last minute and you buy a ticket on the day, that's also totally fine. You can just be assigned to one team or the other. But that's it. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. And I just want to take a moment to say a massive thank you to all of the channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. You truly are the lifeblood of the channel, and I couldn't do this full time without you. And I want to take a moment to say a special thank you to all of my top tier supporters. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So thank you so much to Alan Blunt III, Amy DeSweet, Bon Vert, Ken Starr, Mark Panconi, Ross Miller, Swordfish Trombone, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Varney. Once again, guys, thank you. Genuinely couldn't do this without you. Your incredible and generous support just makes a huge difference. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching, and of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.